everyone. Just want to thank you so much first for watching all my videos you guys have been watching recently. I know a lot of you guys watch my car videos. Some I have a couple of videos on the Wii U and a couple other stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys have been watching my videos for a bit and kind of look through, you'll see there's been a lot of different types of videos. Everything from games to movies to car stuff. You know, I just like to dabble in whatever. So I've decided to come up with a new series, I guess you can say, a new, not quite a show, just something I'm going to try, see if you guys like it or not. I'm going to call it Auto FYI. And really all it is I'm going to give you different information and things like that on some of the simple things you can do with your car just to maintain it, make things easier. Sometimes it's something very, very simple. Sometimes it can be something very hard. Today, on the first episode of Auto FYI, we're going to be looking at changing the wipers on your car. Some things, again, seems pretty simple, but some people may have some trouble with it, may not understand the different types or concepts or anything with it, so I'll go through that. If you guys like it or anything like that, make sure, hit the like, subscribe to my channel, check out other videos as they come out. If you guys have any comments, anything, suggestions, anything like that, make sure you leave it in the bottom below. I want to make sure that you guys are happy with this and watch it as you go. If you have any questions, if you watch any of my other, especially my car videos, you'll see that I try and respond as quickly as possible. Sometimes I'm not 100% on, but I do respond to you as best as I can. So make sure you leave some comments. And if you have anything you want to see, let me know. We can definitely work on that. I'll see what videos I could put out. I've got some easy stuff, some stuff as simple as checking your fluid on your car, tire pressure, today wipers, things like what to do in emergency situations, all sorts of different stuff I've got lined up for you guys over the next few months or whatever. If there's anything you want to see, let me know, and we'll go from there. So today is our first episode of Auto FYI, and today I'll be looking at, previously, welcome to the first episode of Auto FYI. We'll be looking at changing the wiper blades on your car today. It's not just changing the rubber. No one really does that anymore. This is just putting a brand new wiper on your car. Seems easy and simple enough for some, and for others a little more difficult, but it's actually much easier than it seems. They've also simplified a lot of the processes, and I'll go through that very briefly. I don't want to touch too much on that, but there is some simplifications on that as well, so we'll go through that too. Of course, now that we're in the winter season, some people, winter is a major thing. Some people, they're chilling on the beach. Hey, whatever suits you. But if you are in a situation where you need to change your wipers, whether you're in a hurricane city, country, anything like that, or whether you're getting hit by snow, you may see something like this. Like that. Yeah. Or it can get worse than that, really. Let's face it. That's even not that bad. Right? Yeah, okay. But it's starting to smear a lot. I had time to change the wipers now. So kind of killing two birds with one stone here. Figured that's doing my first video. Plus, hey, I need new wipers. Let's do it. So I've got a new wiper here. Standard wiper, nothing special about this. 22-inch fits my car. Make sure to check the size of your car. I can't stress this enough. You don't want to go too small, too big. There's many things that can happen with it. Of course, the main thing is proper coverage. But if you go too small, obviously you're going to be limiting the size that you can cover on your windshield. And if you go too big, obviously it can go over your weather stripping and over time wear that the stripping on the windshield, but it also could interfere with the other wiper depending on the car. Some cars have different sizes, like my car is 22 both left and right, but some cars can use maybe 24 on one side and 20 on the passenger, right? So make sure you check your sizes, make sure you get the right size. Can't stress that too much. Normally once you get your wiper, it's very easy to open up. You just find the opening on the package itself, in this case right up here. And just pull down and open it up. The good news is, sorry if it's a little loud by the way. The good news is this is all pretty straightforward. Once you take it out, you see that up there. Open that up. Wipers out. A lot of wipers these days now are going to more of this flex frame. This is actually not even, one of the quote-unquote higher-end flex frames one, but it is becoming a common thing now. Some of them actually have better builds, and I do actually recommend going to some of those. I have tried them, but it depends on your weather situation. If you are somewhere, for example, where it's a lot of hurricane, things like that, or a lot of rain, for example, Florida. I'm calling you guys out, Florida. Then, of course, when you have them, they have some of them that have a more shielded frame. That's not so bad if you get hit with a lot of rainfall. You don't want water or wind getting in there and lifting. Also, for example, if you're in a place with heavy snow, like really up north in Canada, things like that, or other areas, then of course you want something that's more suited that they have winter wipers. In my area, I'm located in Toronto, not so bad, not a big deal. So, you know, standard wiper works just fine. Now, first I'll show you the different type of fittings. Some of them have really fallen out of style these days. There's about 4 or 5 different types out there. I believe maybe 6, but they're not really common anymore. There's only really 2 or 3 that you see these days that are pretty common. So what I'm going to show you here, this wiper is actually set really for 2 of them. So I'm really going to show you these 2. And I'll also give you a brief tutorial on the other ones too, but I'll be very surprised if you have them. Depends on your country. Some countries actually still use some of the other styles, or they're very common, but here we don't get them. For this one here, as you can see, this one comes with a closed top. It actually locks in. I'll show you that there, right? So once you open this lock, there's 2 ways. Now, the most common way, which is actually also with my car, is just a hook, right? And the hook goes around the inside. Sorry if there's a lot of you, but goes around in there. You put the hook around, locks. You push this in, locks it in place. That's the most common. I see them a lot on North American cars, although it can vary. Even as a lot of the imports and stuff, you're seeing that a lot. So that's the most common one. It's just basically when you're opening it off. Some cars, even with the lock, they don't even have this lock here. It just swings around and kind of hooks in. And what you do is, and I'll show you when I'll do the tutorial, is you just have to really push it to unlock it out, and then just lift it out, kind of twist this around a bit, lift the hook out, and take it out. I'll show you guys what I mean in a bit. But that's the most common type. The other type that I do see, although I don't really see them a lot anymore, I think the last car I really saw was in the mid-90s GMs and stuff, but they may still be out there, is a pin. And as you can see, there's a hole here, and the lock has kind of like a notch. You see that there? So what tends to happen is you put the pin through, once you take out the old wiper, and you clamp this down over the pin and it locks it. And that locks the pin in place over the wiper. Not very common to see that anymore. We're going to go outside and we'll take a look at those in a bit. But those are the most common wipers you see. Now let me show you quickly some of the other ones you may see. Alright, so the ones you may see more commonly, I'm going to show you, again, I'll use the same wiper, but this one is not really made for those, but I'll show you to give you an example. There's 2 or 3 other types that we have out there. So there's first the one that's a top loading pin. I mean, there's different names. There's probably 20 different names out there. I think one's called top latch and all sorts of different things that they use for it. But ultimately, what it is instead of the hook, as I was mentioning, it goes to the end and there's just a little bar in between. Like it goes to the end, it's just got a little bar. And that bar, whereas see this hole right here? Instead of it being a hole, it's an open area. And literally, the arm clips in, and then normally there's a latch that clips over it. Those ones are still out there a bit. Not very common anymore because typically what would happen is if this released, whereas the hook type, when it goes around, hooks over and the pin goes through and then locks in, those, if something happens, if this lifts open or something, the wiper still stays pretty firmly to the car. Whereas the other ones, where they clipped in and clipped over, it's open gap, right? It's just nothing, there's nothing here. So of course, when that opened up, someone's driving along, heavy winds, starts moving around, and then it would release off and the way your wiper goes. That's why you don't see them too much anymore, but that is one of the types that are out there. So if you have that, that's all it really is that there's normally a notch. You open it up, pull out the wiper, new one in, press it in until you hear a click, and clamp it down. The other type that is still out there, you actually see it a lot for more rear wipers, but you can still see it for the front, is just like a button type. So the button type really, again, using this as an example, and I'm sorry I don't have ones to show you right now, but use your imagination a bit on it if you know what I mean. But really, all it is there's a button at the top. Sometimes there's a button you got to push down really hard. Some of them get really hard over time. But essentially what it is, either a hook or just a straight kind of, they call a bayonet, that goes right in and plugs in and clicks. And that's all it is. So some of the, again, using this as an example, forgetting this parts here, it would just go the hook, clip over, and a button would lock it in. It would have a little opening at the top and it would lock in via a button. Another type is it's just a straight little rod, goes right in. So pretend this is all just one piece, goes right in. There's a button here and here, click, and that's it. These kind of fell out of style a bit. Again, same problem. If that button breaks under heavy weather or something, then it's just basically held there by whatever it wants to be held with. So then, of course, as you're driving, anything like that can slide off and away again your wiper. So you don't see those too much either. I haven't seen one of those in a while. If you have a car and you have any of these two that I mentioned, or the third one I'll tell you in a bit, let me know. I'm kind of curious to see if it's still out there, but I personally haven't seen them in quite some time. The last one, also not very common, is a button type, which is basically just how that looks right there, but instead it's just a button, and you press the button, opens up, and you just take it right out. These ones are not actually, are still fairly secure, but I don't see them. I think they're because, one, you need a specialized wipers. Most parts stores don't just carry them just like that, and they tend to be a little more costly. Not a lot more, but a bit more. So you don't see too much of them out there. But, you do come across them from time to time. So those are the 5 main ones. If I missed one, let me know. I think I've covered the 5. The bayonetta and the hook are pretty much the same. The hook, optionally, can just go over, swing around here, or it can have a pin type where it clicks in. So again, depends on what car you have and everything. Sound off, let me know below. But anyways, let's head outside. A little bit chilly day, but we're gonna head out there. We're gonna show you how to do the hook style, which is the most conventional style, the most common style, and we'll go from there. See you outside, guys. Okay, guys. So here's my wiper. As you can see, this is my Grand Prix. If you guys have watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that you've seen this car quite a few times. I use it as an example for quite a few things. And by the way, if you've seen, I do use other cars, so if you have any questions about any other vehicles, let me know. If I can't get the car to do a video on, I'll definitely try and answer the questions. Again, I answer anything I can. A little bit chilly too, but show must go on, right? All right. Okay, so as you can see here, my wiper, it uses the conventional style, just a hook across right underneath. This one also uses the pin. So you'll see if you look underneath here, I can't really show you guys. I don't know if you can see it well, but it's got a little notch right here. So you pull the notch up and that releases the pin. So if you pull, and again, one man, one hand, guys, so I apologize if there's a little bit of awkwardness to this. Pull the pin and it releases. As you can see, there's the hole. You guys see the hole there? So some cars will have this actual hook, but there will be no hole. Some cars do that, especially economy cars. Some cars don't even bother with it. So if they use a wiper like this, it'll just swing around and that's it. You'll also notice, again, manufacturers have different types. This one here is just a regular swing around with a button for it, whereas this one actually doubles up. If you look here, you'll see, of course, it's got the lock. This does not have a lock. So when you look at it there, it's got a button underneath. There it is. And it swings around and then this locks in. So let me show you guys what I mean here. And again, this should be for most cars anyways. So kind of work it around there. Now, of course, this will be much easier with one hand, trust me. Oh, sorry, with 2 hands. But as you can see, I've worked it in. I got it into place. And you just pull forward. You should feel it click. Let me just get into a good spot to show you guys. Sometimes you'll feel it. Sometimes you'll hear it. In this case, there. It's in place. You want to shake it. Make sure it's locked in. Make sure it's good. In this case here with this one, apply the lock. That's it, guys. That's not going anywhere. New wiper is in. Do the same for both sides, and you're good to go. That's really all it is to it. Again, using the 5 types I told you guys about previously. Sorry, a little bit of wind there. It's just a matter of either A, if you have the pin, you pop the pin out, or if you have the conventional hook like this here, either it just slides. If it's a hook without that little opening for the pin, then sometimes they lock just on their own. Because there may have like locks at the side of the plastic, and those are a little bit tricky. You got to be careful because you got to grab them and you got to just tug really hard towards you if you're doing the driver's side. If you're doing that side, unless you're really tall, you're going to be on the other side of the vehicle and then you're pushing away. You got to be careful. I've actually clipped my fingers a couple times because it'll come out with force. It's really locked in there, especially if you've got sediment, dirt, anything like that in there. That could happen. But that's all you do. Get it right out and away you go. Even the other types, not quite as common, but they're there. Same things I told you guys about before. And that's it. Save yourself a trip to the shop. You save yourself quite a few bucks. You get then to choose the wipers that you want. You can research the wipers, see which ones you want. If you want those flex style ones, if you want the conventional style, if you need winter ones, you need anything you need. You can do the research yourself. You buy the wiper you need, and then you change it yourself. Save you a few bucks here and there, and you feel a little bit better about doing something on your car too. At least I do anyways. So that's it, guys. That's the first episode of Auto FYI. Again, I can cover all sorts of different things. I have a couple of videos lined up I'll be doing soon. Maybe when it warms up a bit because it's cold. Not so bad, but hey, it could be worse. Anyways, I do have some other ones. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else. You know, I'm always game for it. And then and we go from there. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. You guys take care. Enjoy.